Alrighty. Welcome back to Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. Anime Review episode number 12. This is reviewing the 14th episode of the series, which is known as I Want to Make Udon After We Hang Out. No, seriously, that's the name of the title. This episode has from chapters 36, 39, and 42.5. Now, the way they adapted this episode is quite interesting. Is that they put 36 first, they put the point 2 first, they put that short story, which that was 42.5, and then they put 39. That's the order the way they do this, which kind of makes sense. Now, with this episode, you probably think, okay, how far in the anime, how far in the manga they adapted? As of this episode, they have pretty much covered the first 39 out of 87 chapters. Yes, 87 is the most recent one released for the series so far. I have not seen any more released. Not that I can think of, no. Yeah, I've not seen any more released per se. No. Though the Wiki page itself basically doesn't have many for chapters per se, but yeah, so 87 was the most recent chapter they released. So here's what happens. Now, the episode first starts out basically. Now, there's actually a few changes here. Mostly in the short story they make changes because the soccer thing is most the same except for the ending. You have Sakurai and Hana, where they're just playing soccer with each other. And of course, what's his name here? Ichiko tries to basically hop in. Of course, Ami's on this too. Then, of course, before this, we do see, a flashback. A couple times see flashback what happened last episode with Uzaki and, Hana and Sakurai where they're sleeping next to each other. And, of course, Hana's what wakes up first, tells them to wake up. And it's kind of, of course, Hana mentions this to basically her mother. Who did they bring up? She's 43 years old. Yes, 43 years old. So, by the way, we actually have debuted a couple new characters in this episode. I'll get to those, don't worry. So, after the little thing, or something, do something together, which that leads into the short story we see in the episode, which that gives an explanation for that. Though, basically, in the manga, it was something completely random, but they probably threw it anyways. They have a soccer match with a bunch of upperclassmen, which they win. Now, the change they make here is that when they run away after they win, we have Sakurai pick up Hana, put him under his arm, and just run away. In the manga, this didn't happen. Nope, this was completely after the anime. And then right after this, we had their shopping. We had the trip they went on, which basically was shopping. Now, they actually do make a change this one, where there's a couple different changes. One, the first change is basically, they mentioned the flashback, where it's mostly the same, except they changed where Hana was. Where he's basically he's swimming, and of course the compliments are in a swimsuit, that it's cute. And by the way, it's the same swimsuit in the manga, which good on the anime for basically keeping that in. Except they changed where she was sitting. In the manga, she was sitting next to a pool with her feet in the water. In the anime, she was sitting on the bench against the wall. Not really sure exactly why they decided to have her do this for. It's particularly quite weird. After the whole compliment thing. And of course, there's more shopping here with various outfits. They also bring up that Ichiki where he got more credits than he does because he just takes easy classes, shows up once in a while, turns in paper, and that's it. Because he spends a lot of time camping. Yep. And then we have Hana and Sakurai where they walk to her mother's house, which that leads into chapter 39, where we actually have this brief moment where Hana is basically where she's talking to him, and of course she puts him in a headlock, which has his head near one of her breasts, and he talks about it. Now, in the manga, Ichiki showed up, basically says, "Oh, you two are flirting," and of course says nothing. In the anime, it's written off as an imaginary dream by Hana, and then they walk to her house where they basically show off the udon. Yes, That'd be good, but it's not cut properly. Then, of course, he cuts properly. Of course, Hana's mom has a massive understanding, basically, about the relationship, which they're not dating, not yet, per se, not for another 30 chapters. More like 32 chapters before they finally date. So, and of course, as they make all this udon, and misunderstanding, of course, his mother marries them. And then we see the anime debut of Kuri, Hana's little brother. But we do see the anime debut of one other person. We only hear her voice, and it's Yanagi. Yanagi, I think that's her name. Hana's sister. Yes, Hana's sister. Yeah, this is kind of, you hear her voice, but you don't see her per se. Not really. In the manga, she makes her first appearance in chapter 48, which I believe was just a chapter after the debut of her father. Yeah. Now, the one thing, this is something kind of interesting about Sakurai and Hana's father. They're both bodybuilders. Yes, seriously. Because Hana's father is a massive body. He's basically a bodybuilder. Sakurai basically is, well, kind of bodybuilder too, but not as massive as Hana's father. But we're probably going to see him in the future. If you're curious though, is there an episode he's going to show up in? Why, yes. They're actually going to have him, let's see. Like, the chapter where he makes his debut probably won't be until chapter 17. Probably. That's probably when he's going to show up. Yeah, and it's interesting, though, that for his only son, Kari, who makes his full debut with this episode here. And it's kind of weird, though, the fact that 48 is his real parent, despite the fact he appears here in this episode. And he's with by Hayden Davov, which is interesting to say the least. But here one thing that's quite interesting about Hana, her siblings, and her mom. They all get the same hair color, while her father is basically raven-haired. Yeah, I think that's kind of weird, the fact their father has a different hairstyle than they do. I mean, I get the girls having this hairstyle as the mother, but the son too, that's quite interesting. So basically, the guy has 3 kids, and they look almost all like his wife. Because Hana's brother looks almost exactly like him, except he's more like a male version of him. Of her, excuse me. Yep. But yeah, pretty good episode. And, well, I'm really hoping I can soon review this on the proper day. But that all depends upon if I get a chance to review the 2 anime that come after my next anime on Wednesday. And I hope that'll be the case, because next anime we discuss is going to be One Piece. And after that one will be Girlfriend, and the Great Zhao Will Not Be Defeated. Okay, next video. Bye.